winter is upon us, and I'm gonna take this heated steering wheel and I'm gonna install it in this 9th Gen Impala. Impossible, you say? We'll find out if I can do it after the intro. So my car is a 2015 Impala Limited, which is the post Mid Cycle Enhancement that came out in 2012. And this car has the 6-speed automatic, so it has the manual shift buttons on the left pod. Also, this car, when I purchased it, I found this nice perforated leather new old stock wheel off of a Buick Lucerne. But it's not heated, and there are some mornings when I wish I had a heated steering wheel. So this right here, I think, is going to be the answer to my dilemma. This was a pod from a 2011 Cadillac DTS that had adaptive cruise control. It has these buttons to increase and decrease the gap. If these don't work directly, I'm going to try to Frankenstein a pod together with my shift buttons, maybe the board off of that, slap it in here, because what I need is right here, this button to activate the heated steering wheel. You'll see this, I bought the entire column from a 2011 DTS, and this does not have the pod buttons. So, and you know, it looks just like the standard Impala wheel. It doesn't have the perforated leather, but it's in pretty decent shape. I bought the entire column because I need to harvest the clock spring, and also this connector right here. I will be harvesting this end of the connector to pin into the Impala. I'll have to take the Impala's connector out and pin the wires into this one. The heated steering wheel module resides behind the airbag inside the steering wheel, so all you will need to run is a switch 12-volt power source and a ground. So before we begin with this, full credit is going to go to a YouTuber that goes by Sizzlin321. He gave me this idea by commenting on one of my videos. I've been in touch with him, and he sent me some wiring diagrams and giving me some ideas on how to proceed. So he will be my spirit animal, and I'm giving full credit to him. So now that that's out of the way, I think what I'm going to do first is get the airbag off of here, get the wheel off of the column. See, I got it in my vise, clamped in my vise right now. And then extract the clock spring before we move to the car. And what I want to do, I'm gonna plug this in my car and just see if maybe these buttons work. My backup plan is, if I can't get functional shift buttons, I'm going to buy a shift lever from a 1st Gen Traverse that has the shift buttons, and then find somewhere to wire those into the BCM. That'll be the backup plan. Alright, so to pop off your airbag, you have these little holes. I got a 7/64 Allen wrench. You stick them through here, and just to show you, right here, you'll see, or actually, oh wait, sorry, down here. Right down here, you'll see the wrench moves that to the side. Do that to both sides, and this thing will pop right off. And on these little clips, you just pop these up. Don't take them out. Just let them pop them up. Just a little bit like that. Don't let these things come out, because if you do, you'll get an airbag warning. They need to be in place. And then I think you squeeze on the sides. You can see these little tabs. Squeeze, and these things should come out. They should. I can't do it one-handed. And then it's difficult to get your finger in there to squeeze these. Yep, see, I had it. Yeah. So I got to get a little screwdriver to squeeze that in and squeeze that in. It should come out. So I just put a screwdriver in the side of the pink one, pushed it in, and then pushed the other side, and then this came up. And it's the same with this side. Well, now I can squeeze both because I got that one out of the way. And here we go. I got a nice Cadillac airbag I could save. I could probably take the cover off, take that Cadillac emblem off. I don't know, whatever. So here is your heated steering wheel module right here. So I'm going to pull off the controls and see if just pull that off and see what's going on here. I think what I want to do is I'm just going to disconnect this from the clock spring carefully. I thought it would come right off, but I guess that it's not. You need two hands. As I'm... Oh, wait, here we go. Okay. Okay, that's out. Now the clock spring's disconnected. I'll let you know. I think this is a 3/4. I'll be right back with that. For the record, it's a 13/16. I make short work of it. So you should be able to just grab a hold of this. Yeah. So I'm holding the camera. Sorry, if I was on tripod, I'd show you me just wiggling this back and forth. It should come out. And if not, there's a spot to put a steering wheel puller, which I have somewhere. A little bit of wiggling did get it off. So you gotta remember to feed all these connectors through the opening. And there's your clock spring. And here's your steering wheel. I still have the wrench sitting in there. So I think I'll get this on the bench and I'll pop off that driver's side pod. So on this clock spring, I'm going to need to go fish deep in my toolbox and find my snap ring pliers, because there's a snap ring right there holding it in. But what you want to do, see how this outside moves? You want to tape this in position, because you don't want it moving. Because there's a big long cassette, I suppose you call it, wire inside there. And if you move this the slightest bit, it could get off, it could snap, and then nothing will work. So you want to make sure this is stationary. Put some tape around it in several spots so it doesn't turn. Snap ring pliers, get that snap ring out. And then there's a couple zip ties you got to cut under here, and this should just lift right out. And then that's all you need from this column. And you know, separate the wires out from the harness here. Just take the ones for the clock spring, and you know, I'll probably just cut all these wires here so I have this connector, because none of these wires are going to matter right now. But this one will be important. This is for the airbag. I think that's all the rest of these are for, like the signal switch and the ignition and the pass lock module. Well, the ones I have are wrong, because they're the kind that squeeze closed, and I need the kind that squeeze open. My other pair are too big, so back to the drawing board for that. I'm gonna have to go buy a pair, which I'll come back to this later. So I'm gonna have to find a star bit to take that out. so got a little snap ring pliers. I've kind of thinned out everything on here, gotten rid of all the crap I'm not going to need. We are going to save, like I said, we're going to save this connector here. So I'll go in and I'll take this snap ring out. Actually, I got to put some tape around this yet, so we won't do that yet. So this connector here, I have I went onto All Data DIY and got actually I did a 3-year subscription for my Impala for this car because I'm gonna need it, but I did a 1 month for this. I got a discount, pretty much got this free with the discount. So we're gonna be taking this connector here. It's actually the X276, and according to this diagram, I'll make a JPEG of that and put it on the screen, but terminal C and D are the two I'm gonna leave. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, check that out. I got a touchscreen laptop. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Holy hell, that is cool. Anyway, so now that we can see that, pin C and pin D are the two that we're gonna take. You see how it says number 1 brown and number 1 black? The rest say 0.35. So I go over to the one for the Impala. Maybe if I click on that, will that enlarge? No, it will not. But all these say 0.35. I'll get into that in a second. But as you see, one says ignition, 1 voltage, one says ground, and those are the ones we want. Oh, yeah, and after thinning out this harness, you can see here, they just spliced a bunch of grounds together and they wrapped, like, it looked like duct tape damn near around it. These are like soldered. But so what I'm gonna do is whatever, I think it's these two right here, the black and the brown, these two wires are the ones I'm gonna save. I think, if that's, yeah, these are the two that are thicker gauge than the rest. So I'm just gonna tie this ground back around into one of these other grounds. Possibly, nah, I don't know. Different gauge wire. I might just, shit, now I think of it, I might just extend that and put a little ring terminal and ground it. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So I'm thinking I'll take all these wires off. I'm rambling. I bought this little tool that will disengage terminals. So I got to go through this and find the correct tool to properly depin this harness. I know, sorry, I'm rambling on like a madman here. I still want to get the clock spring off this column so I can just pitch that column. There we go. Okay, so getting back to this now. I want this connector here, which is this, and I need to save pin C and pin D. Right? Is that what I said? C and D? C and D. So C and D are going to be on the bottom row. Yeah. Oh, check it out. These are even labeled. That says KJHGF. Okay. Oh, these are even labeled EDCBA. Oh, shit. Okay, so that makes it easy. So the two I assumed were the ones are the ones I'm going to save. Okay, so now I will be depinning this harness, and I'm going to depin the one in the Impala. Going off the chart, I'm going to replace everything. The ones I take out of that car, we're going to put them in this connector, and we'll have these two. I'm going to take some, probably take some speaker wire. I'm going to splice, you know, butt splice both of them, and I'm going to run a wire over to the, and this says, I think it says the amperage too. Oh, no, wait. Oh, man, look at all these tabs I got open here. I got, let me see, maybe it was this one. It told me the, well, I'll figure that out and I'll get back to you. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to wrap some electrical tape around this, stretch it. You don't want this thing moving at all. Going around like that. Now you can see I got it around the front and it's stretched nice and tight. Now if I try moving this, see, it won't move now. You just got to remember to take that off when you when you install it in your Impala. So let's see if I can get this snap ring out of here. Sure, if that camera light is blinding me. Really, I can't. It's hard to see with that. I should shut this light off. That's blinding me. Okay, that came out. I'm gonna save it. Now this should just lift right off. Yep. There's a nice little centering tab for right here. Okay, clock spring has been extracted. Camera's moving. Here's your steering wheel harness. Here's your airbag harness. This is your airbag harness under the dash. And here's that connector. And this one's labeled too. A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So I'm going to take a jeweler's screwdriver, just kind of pry under here to get this little black tab out. Try that first. Get this little tab out of there. Okay, like that. We're going to need to do this on the Impala too. So now that that's out, you have access to the terminals. And I have to find the right tool to depin this. I don't know. This one might work. Nah, it's too small. I will futz around with, oh, look at that. Yeah, that one worked. Okay, so whatever I did, I put my little tool in through here. And that kicked the, oh, I see. That kicked this open. And this pin came right out. So this looks like the one. Whatever I did, that one just fell right out. Huh. Might have been dumb luck. Nope, I got that one too. Okay, you can see the little tang right there that you need to disengage. So pushing that in there. Okay, so you push that flat, that pushes that down, that disengages it. So I'm just going to do that to all of them except for the two on the bottom. So I'll go do that and then check back with you. Alright, so I got my harness all depinned except for the two I want to add. Now I'm looking back at these other connectors, and what you want to do to get them to seat again, go back under here, just give that a little push. I think on the back, yeah. In the front, one of these two, you give it a, oh yeah, give it a push here. I don't know if you can really see that on the camera, but if you push this in a little bit, or a lot, now you can go. I'm just going to click that back in. Now that clicks it in and it locks it. So then, you know, now I got to go back in and push that back down. But that's how you get these to, because you're going in, you're pushing this in, that's releasing the tab, and now you want to push this metal back, the little tab back out like that, so that it'll seat. So you'll do that on the ones on your car after you take them all out. Now more wires to add to the pile. My pile of thinned out harness that's sitting in my trash can. Yep, this is the, I bought the whole column so I could have the steering wheel, the clock spring, and this clock spring connector. So with that said, I think we're ready to head to the car. Before we do that, I just want to point out that this is the connector on your Impala. It's going to have 8 pins versus the new one that has 10. Just so you see, this is the one you're going to be depinning. And again, I will post, all these wires do correspond to what was on this plug. So we're essentially going to take these wires out and insert them in this connector where the ones from this car were, so that'll match up to this car's clock spring using your car's wires. And you know, you're just adding the power source for the heated steering wheel. So again, I'll snapshot that, JPEG it, I'll flash it on the screen here. Alright, so I was digging through All Data DIY and I found the resistances on the cruise control gap buttons on the DTS, and they're 1870, 2100, and 2870. And the tap shift buttons on the Impala are 1870, 2100, and 2870. So and they go out on pin 1 and pin 5, and pin 1 and pin 5. So I think that switch from the DTS will be plug and play. I will not have to cobble anything together. So according to this, I should just be able to roll with it. Alright, so now with that new info, I'm not gonna quite get to installing this yet. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this switch pod, and I'm gonna go just connect it up to the car now and just verify that these buttons will activate the shifter, and that it doesn't look from that diagram that it's dependent on the cruise control switch being on or off. That'll be the big thing, whether, you know. Okay, so this is the point in the video where I've made a big edit, because this is going to regard how you're going to power this heated steering wheel. Now, you look at I took my fuse panel cover off. I tried running over it with some Sharpie to maybe make it easier to see, but it didn't really work out. So you have your 9, if you take a look at it, there's the 9 fuses, and off to the side there's one that's labeled RAP. That is the only fuse that is switched ignition power. All the rest of these are powered all the time, continuously. Well, the problem with this is your little fuse tap will not fit. So how do we work around that? Well, there's this little device here that you can purchase. What it does is this plugs into the fuse, but then it runs over to you know, your Impala has what's called an ATM fuse, which makes no sense to me. These things go to a ATO style fuse. So there's a couple things you can do here. You can buy an ATO fuse holder and put 2 fuses in there and then jam it inside here. Well, alright, you know what, you get what I'm saying here. Put this in here and then power it off that. Okay, that's one way to do it. What I want to do is I want to use the ATM style fuse so I don't have 2 different, you know, let's just say one of these blows. Well, I have a bunch of these fuses. I don't have to stock 2 different types. So what I'm going to do, I bought 2 of these anyway. I'm going to cut this about halfway. I got these little connectors that I'm going to splice onto here, and those will plug in to here, and then I'll just heat shrink it. And then plug, you know, remove the wrap fuse, stands for retained accessory power. And then I got 2 10s right here. And we'll connect this one to the wire going to the clock spring. Okay, so I went ahead and removed this panel. I mean, literally you just lift up on the back and she comes out. So over here at the fuse box, your wrap fuse is up here. With my light on here, you can't really see it, but this is where it's by these 2. I think this is your power window relay, but that fuse right there, it's a 10 amp. That's the retained accessory power, and it's impossible to get one of those fuse taps on there, so that's why I bought that other deal, and that's what I'm going to put in there. So I'm going to make my little harness up, and I'll put that in there, and that's what I'm going to wire. That's what I'm going to splice into. So I don't know if you can see these little connectors. I went ahead and cut the little blue insulation off of them, and I'm going to wrap them with this heat shrink. But I think I'll cut this about halfway, I think. Find my wire cutter. Oh, right here. I'm just going to cut them about halfway. And then this, I mean, this is a good little fuse holder. You can use that for something else somewhere down the line. So these are rated at 20 amps. It's a 16 gauge wire. So I think, you know, the 2 10s, that should be perfect. I'm just looking at my 16 on here. 16's on the end, okay. That's perfect. I'll get that on there. And I'll just crimp these 2 on here. Actually, get that heat shrink on there first. So I'm just going to plug these right onto this, and then I'm just going to heat shrink it. And then I'm going to redo this connector. I'm going to put one of my waterproof. I'm going to put one of these, or, you know, heat shrink, not waterproof, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I'll splice into my wire going to my, going to the clock spring. That is also 16 gauge wire. So I'll just, do I need to record this? Probably not. Because it's boring, and I probably should put a little more wire on there than this. Right? Yeah, well, you get the gist. Okay, so there we go. I got those terminals crimped on there. I'm just gonna bring that heat shrink right up like that. Ooh, and I cut that one a little shorter than the other one. It's so friggin' cold out here. I don't know if my lighter is gonna work. I'm gonna have to bring this indoors. Wrap that heat shrink. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. My lighter warm up a little bit. But this is what she'll look like when she's done. We can plug. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna go in my voltmeter and find which side of that. So when I pull the fuse out of the wrap, I want to find out which side has voltage, because that's how we're gonna we want the side with voltage here to go in. Because you want the fuse to blow. If you put the voltage in on this side, then you're not going to get the action of the fuse if there's a short. So you want the power in to go on the opposite side of the wire leaving. That's how you want to plug this in. So I'm going to go warm my lighters up and heat shrink this, and then we'll go to the car. I'll put a different end on here. Put one of my heat shrink ends on there. Alright, so I went ahead and put some heat shrink on here, and there's a little bit exposed on here, so I just threw another larger piece over here. I went and got me an indoor lighter that's all nice and ready to go. I'm just going to give it one little extra protection there. I don't want anything shorting out. This would be nice. Alright, we're good. I think that'll be a good little harness to plug into the wrap fuse. Looks good. Alright, just so you can see, I pulled that relay and this relay so you can see the lone fuse right there. That is your wrap retain accessory power fuse. Now I'm gonna throw my meter on here and hit the ignition, and I'll see which side is powered. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a line on my little pack to denote which one is powered. Then I know where to plug it in. Okay, so if you're looking at it this way, it's the one on the left. It's the farthest one that way is the one that has the power. And don't forget, if you're gonna shut your key off, you gotta put that fuse back in, because that controls the shift interlock. So you won't get your key out till you put the fuse back in. All right, so the one on the left is the one that has the power. So I'm gonna take a look at this, and now we want the power going here. So we're gonna put it in like this. I'm just gonna draw. We'll put that one. We'll put that wire on the left side because you want it going in, out. I'm gonna get going with taking these closeout panels on the driver and passenger side. For those of you that don't know, you find the little indent here and pry it out. Pry the center down, don't pull it all the way out, pull it out about, you know, a ½ inch, then the whole clip will come out. I think there's 3 under the passenger side. There should be one, I think there's one back here. Yep, okay, there's one here. I don't know if you can see my finger. One here, one here, one here. That'll pull this down. And then it's the same on the driver's side. And then, yeah, we'll get over there in a sec. You don't really need anything fancy. I do have one of these tools, but you can also just use a slotted screwdriver. Find the little notch in there. Pry that down. See that? About a ½ inch. They do come out, but you're just going to want to remember to put them back. But then you can take this and flick them out. So, and another piece of advice, when you go to put these back in, make sure you put the slot facing towards the front, because then it'll be easy for you to find it, and then you can easily take them back out. Because you're going to need to take this out when you replace your blend door actuators, which if you haven't already, you are going to need to do that at some point if you own a 9th gen Impala. It's just a fact of life. Now I got this popped out, and you're just going to want to take that lamp out. It's not lit because I've had these doors open for 10 minutes and the dome light thing shut off, but you can set that to the side. Now we got some good access. You look under there, you know, I got my backup camera wire ran under here, so there's really nothing you need to tie that wire to. You could, if you want, pull the glove box out and, you know, tie it to something, but I think you'll be fine just letting her run across. We'll go across the radio. I'm not going to pull the radio. We don't really need to get anything under there. And I got an aftermarket radio, and this is a pain in the ass to pull all this apart. So I'm going to elect not to do that. So now over here, you're going to want to grab a 7mm nut driver. Not to get this bottom closeout panel out, but to get this panel and the panel behind it, you're going to need a 7mm. As you can see, there's a couple screws there. There's a couple more behind there. So it's kind of the same deal here. You got two up front and one kind of back down by the gas pedal that you'll need to get out. And follow the same advice I gave you, where put the little notch facing forward, because at some point you're going to need to change your blend door actuators, and you will thank yourself when you do have these properly installed. It'll make your life easier. This one's a little tricky. Oh, sorry, not looking at the viewfinder there. That one's a little bit tricky. And then the one back here is I'm not going to be able to film it, but it's somewhere back here between the brake and the gas pedal. Can't see it offhand, but I'll reach my head up there and get that. You know, I might not even need to take that one out. Come to think of it, you can probably just let this hang. Alright, so that's optional. Another thing, when I take this closeout panel out, I pop off the OBD2 connector. There's a little notch to press that in. This will pop down. Then you can twist it to the side and then kind of finagle it back up through this hole. And then there's a courtesy light. Take that out and then you can take the panel out. So that third one I'm talking about is directly above the gas pedal. I don't know if we're picking it up, but I think that's it right there. So that's the third one. I'm gonna leave that for right now, like I said. So we're gonna go take these two 7mm screws out. Don't lose them. I mean, I got WeatherTech floor mats, so I'm not worried about losing them, but this will gain you access this panel here, which just pries off. A series of clips on there, and then there's two, did I say four? There's only two screws, one here, and then this metal panel comes off. And I think we should be able to access the clock spring. Oh, don't worry, these screws are all the same. I'm gonna go sideways a second because I got to hold this while I do this because it's gonna fall down. And it's held on by two threads right now. And there she goes. So I think we should be good as far as these clock spring controls. Where? Okay, there's one here. Dang. Whew. Where? Wow. I'm trying to find the airbag. Is it way the hell back here? What the hell? Where does this go? Wow. So I'm thinking I am gonna have to take this panel off. Okay, and the other thing too is we're gonna take this steering wheel cover off. I think there's one screw here, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's either a T20 or a T25. I will confirm that in a second, but we're gonna wanna pull, you know, I think this will pull up. We can pull the tilt lever out. This will make our lives easier. It should just come out. Wow. I thought the tilt lever would come out. It's not. Yours might. Mine's not. I'm struggling to get mine out. I might be able to get by with just leaving that there. Okay, a couple things I'm gonna do off camera. All right, so off camera, I pulled the tilt lever out, and there's one T20 screw in this cover right here. Boom, right by the tilt lever. And I just, you can see these little tabs, just kind of pried away with my fingers and it came right off. So we got access to the column here. What I want to do, I need to find the frickin' airbag, the one for the airbag. I want to take that out because I don't want to disconnect the battery. All this stuff, this goes back here. I don't know where all this shit goes. Like, it's hidden really well. I want to disconnect the airbag. Like, here's the other coil. This is the one I'm looking for. Disconnect this, then I don't have to worry about the airbag blowing, you know. Which likely won't, but I just don't want to take any chances with that. I mean, some of this shit looks different. Anyway, yeah, this is all zip tied on here. So I think this is the connector that we need to repin right here. This is an 8-pin. This is definitely the one we need to, this one right here. We're gonna have to cut the electrical tape right here. Right here. This is the one right here we're gonna repin. Where this other shit goes, I mean, these are all tied together. It's hard to tell where all this goes. I think it goes back. It's got to go back here. I'm gonna probe around. I'll get back to you. Hopefully, maybe I'll pop this off. Do some more consulting. Oh, here it is right here. Boom, that's it. Okay, I found her. She's right here. This is the golden goose right here. So this wire here goes around. Okay, and there it is right there. See my fingers? This is, okay. Boom, okay, I found her. Okay, piece of cake. So that's gonna feed back here. All right, so what we're gonna do is pull this orange piece off, or, you know, we're just gonna pry it away like that. Now we can depress this at the top. Might need a screwdriver. Pry it out, and that will disconnect the airbag. With any luck, I'm trying to do it with one hand. The other side of this connector is pinned down to this dash. Yeah, see, I'm having trouble doing this with one hand. Stand by. And a couple seconds later, it's out. So now I can fish this back behind the headlight switch. I can pull the, yes, all right, here we go. Boom, there she is. All right, now the airbag is disconnected. I am gonna cut this zip tie and then we're gonna disconnect this right here. And I said I was gonna cut that electrical tape right there. We're gonna do that too, because this is, we're gonna need to get this right here out of the way, maybe under this clip, so we can get it out in the open, so we can take and depin this harness. Okay, but before I do that, I'm gonna take the airbag out, I'm gonna take the control out, and I'm gonna swap in that new control with the shift buttons, and just to verify that it works. All right, so the airbag is out. It's the same procedure as what I showed you earlier on the bench. 1/8 inch Allen through the holes in the side, and you know, it disengages the little deal right there, pops out, lift up the little white clip, depress the tab, boom, boom, those come out. rewind the video if you want to see how to do it exactly. So there are two T20 screws holding the control in. So we'll want to take those out. And don't lose, well, I have the screws from the other steering wheel, so I can afford to lose these, so just saying. Try not to drop them. But yeah, so take these out. And you know, if you have a 2006 to 2011, you don't have to do any of this. Just swap the controls straight up. This is for the 12 to 13 Impala and 14 to 16 Impala Limited. That's the only one you need to do this for. So this, squeeze this in. All right, we're gonna set the camera back here. See if I can do it with this on my lap. Okay. Wow, she. Wife's gonna come running now. What happened? What happened? I don't know how in the hell. Oh, this activates the horn. Okay, well, be careful not to do that. You're gonna startle somebody. Ah, shit. There. Okay. Now, here's the original. Now you can see the buttons are a little different on this. That says gap, plus, minus, and this just has. But we got this, the heated steering wheel button. All right, let's plug that up. And I'm gonna end up disconnecting it again because it's going on the new wheel. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, all right, shifting to low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir, she works. Yep. No modification. All right, now let's see. Button's on. Makes no difference what that button is in. It shifts. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so we don't need to do nothing. This control works. I mean, if you want to tear yours apart and switch the buttons, you know, put these buttons on there, go at it. I'm not going to. It doesn't make a whole shit of difference to me. And I mean, sure, this little symbol is different. See, that just shows the cruise and this shows the car. I mean, is it gonna matter? Who cares? If you go to sell your Impala and it has this on there, is the person you're gonna sell it to, are they really gonna care? I don't know. That's up to you. If you wanna cannibalize this and put the proper switches on there, I'm not going to. But that's I'm not going to show you how to do that because I really don't care. So, but this just confirms that this new switch pod works. So I'm going to take this out of here and put this one back in here, and we're going to take the steering wheel off. All right, so I pulled this awesome perforated leather steering wheel off, and we're going to go with plain. Hello, it's me from the future. Now, as you're going to see coming up, I'm going to put the new steering wheel in and the shift buttons won't be working on it. So here, I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as you get your old steering wheel off, again, this is if you have the 12 and up. If you have the 11 and earlier, disregard this. Go ahead, take all this apart, remove your left side pod, pull this off. I think these are T25s. Take these 4 bolts out and these 2 right here. Boom, boom. Take them out and extract this harness. Because you're going to need to harvest this wire right here. Oh, not in frame. This orange wire that is in pin 5 of the left side. It goes from pin 5 to pin H on here. You're going to need to take that out. That wire is missing on that DTS wheel. Unless you buy a DTS wheel that has the gap buttons on it. If it's regular, if it's like this, then you're gonna, and your Impala has these shift buttons, you need to take this wire out and transplant it into the car. So you'll see that coming up. Oh, now back to the video. So I am gonna miss this. This is a really cool wheel, but like I said, I might someday cut this cover off and transplant it onto this one. But I'll bid it adieu for right now. And so same deal, 13/16 nut gets this off. We'll get to that in a second. One thing, so Sizzlin321 told me there's something you have to cut off on this, on the Impala, and I think it's this right here. This looks like the old school GMs where you'd put the horn button thing into that, and it's obviously not being used. Looking at the DTS coil, and there is no provision for that. So I think that's what I'm gonna need to cut. Other than that, it looks like it'll mount up the same. The bottom is a little bit different, but and the other thing too is earlier in the video you saw that I took and I wrapped electrical tape around the perimeter of this. I haven't been doing this. It's probably been about 3 weeks since I started this video to now, and I came outside and noticed that this had, the tape had like shrunk off and this had turned a little bit. So I went on the All Data DIY and it tells me, so I'm gonna need to reset this. I'm gonna need to, it says to turn it all the way clockwise gently till it stops, and then you back it off 2.5 turns. So that is what I'm gonna do. But if maybe if you, when you take yours off, strap the tape around it like this, that ensures that this won't move. You know, don't do the stupid thing like I did. So I'm going to, oh yeah, I said I was gonna cut this electrical tape off of here, cut this zip tie. We'll zip tie the new one to there. Gonna get out the snap ring pliers and get that off, and we'll pull her off of here, and I'll take a Sawzall to that. Maybe I'll just take my little jigsaw to it, cut that flush, and then we should be good. All right. Okay, and I am doing this to document what I've done, because I'm gonna forget. Probably should use a wire cutters instead of scissors, but I just want to get that loose, and then that piece of electrical tape right here. Boom. So now I can unplug this coil somehow. Okay, little tab right there. I don't have my screwdriver handy. Again, trying to do this single-handedly while I hold the camera. Okay. Yep, the old clock spring's free. So here is our connector that we're going to repin. Looks oily. Why is it all oily? Weird. Yep, so I got that out of there. I'm going to probably cut away a little more of this electrical tape so I can, okay, there are the HGFE right there, and this is labeled ABCD going that way. Okay, all right, so we got a pretty clear view of what these wires are. What I'm just gonna go one by one, looking at my chart. Suppose we'll start with H. I'll start with what was on H and I'll plug it into the new harness. So what I might do, I think I'm gonna undo this thing right here somehow. I think that pinches in. Yeah. We're gonna get this unplugged, and then I'm gonna take this. Oh, it's taped up right there. This might be enough room right here. That should be enough room.
I don't need to undo any of this. That's a lot of electrical tape on there. We'll just do it right here. Okay. Here's the next question. Do I want to get the old coil off first? I think we'll do that. I'll go get my snap ring pliers and we'll take this off. Right now the camera, the thing is sitting between my legs. I really wish I had a helmet for my GoPro. That would be perfect for right here. And here we go. Trying to get these snap ring pliers on here. Okay, snap ring is off. Here comes the coil. Okay, the wave washer's still on there. Yeah, so this is the piece right here. I'll just cut that off. I'll take my hacksaw and just cut it right off. And this, I want to save this, and I want it to be, I think I'm gonna wrap the electrical tape through the center and around the top. Maybe go here around this way. I want to keep it centered, you know? Okay. Just seeing how that's a locator. How is this going to be located on here? That's my next question. Oh, okay, I'm looking at this. There's tangs in there that locate it. Okay, I think, so that, yep, that orange thing doesn't locate it. Okay. Just double checking. But now you can see this is the locking pin that locks your steering wheel. Oh, and I didn't fail to mention, I did point the wheel straight ahead, and you can see on this little shaft there's a little notch at the 12 o'clock position, pretty much telling you that you're pointed straight. But yes, the steering wheel only goes on one way. It won't allow you to put it in a cockeyed position. So I'm gonna go do that centering procedure on my new clock spring, and I'm gonna cut off that little tab. Okay, so tongue-tied. Here you will see that I went and cut that off with a hacksaw blade. I went ahead and test fitted this. I did the little procedure. I wound it all the way clockwise and then backed it off. It said 2.5 turns, but 3 actually brought me to the center. Now if you look, this little tab here needs to press behind here. That needs to click in there, and this needs to clip here. And then what you do is you just push down on this, not too hard, but just enough. If you can, the camera probably won't pick up on it, but you can kind of see the little landing area where the snap ring goes. And then, I don't know, I just take this, put it on there, and then give it a little pressure. Get it close, press in on this, and you can take the flat blade screwdriver to seat it. And that will seat your new clock spring. Okay, so you can kind of see I got it started. One hand holding the camera. Let me put this back here. Can we see? All right, so I'm just gonna push in and then click, she seats in. I don't know if you can pick that up, but she's seated now. Now she's in there. Now this is gonna line up with the steering wheel right here. So if I screwed up by turning it out 3, then I guess I'm gonna have problems, and I'll have to buy another clock spring, but not too worried about it. So now I'm gonna repin that connector, and then we can start putting the column back together. And the last thing I'll do is plug in the airbag. But remember, the airbag goes back around here to plug in over here. So doing good. I'm gonna have to go bust out the laptop and get those wiring diagrams. Also, I'm gonna have to see if my little tool will, oh, it should work the same. These pins look the same. Okay, I think that same tool I have will work on here. All right. Well, I think the one I want to start with is pin E, supply voltage, because pin E on this one goes to pin E on this one, the purple wire. Pin E to E, so we'll start with that. This says pin H is not used, and on the car the pin H is like a purple wire. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one. There's only one purple on here. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what that is. But let's start with pin E, purple to purple. I think I'm going to set up the tripod because I can't do this single-handedly. Let's take a look here. So pin E is this one. It says E right there, and it's purple. And I'm holding this connector, and pin E is right here on the end. So that's the one I'm going to start with. So the camera's tucked between the seat there. And I don't know, we'll see if I have any success recording this. So pin E, let me just verify it's this one. Yep. We'll see if I can get this in here. If I remember how this worked. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I have to pull this out. Yep. And I lost my flat blade screwdriver. Shit, I remember I got to pull this little... This has to come up before we can pull any wires out. That's the little retainer. So I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but this little white thing in the center has to come out. Otherwise, those wires ain't coming out. Huh. Should have thought of that before I started this. I might have to cut back some of that electrical tape too, because that's... There we go. Okay. We're most of the way out. Okay, now this should work. Somehow. I remembered how I did this last time. Jam it in there like that. Okay, there we go. E is out. Well, it's loose, it's not coming out. I mean, I got it out of the, it's disengaged from the harness. It's just difficult to... Okay. Wow, yeah, I'm gonna have to pull, yep, there's E. Okay, E has been extracted. So I gotta remember to go back around. I don't know if the camera's picking any of this up, but I have to bend that tab back through. Somehow. Bend that back up. Yep. Lift that tab back up just like I showed you earlier with this same tool. I'm trying to, and it's not going. Interesting. This one doesn't want to go. Did I push it through the... I pushed it through the bottom. Okay, remember, push it through the bottom, dummy. There. Yep, that did it. Push it through the bottom. Okay, now I said pin E on here. So I got this out. We got to remember we have to put this back in. And E... I can't even read this. E is right here. Okay. And she's going to go in like this. Oh, no. Click. All right, she made it. Yep, so I'm gonna cut some of this electrical tape back. That'll make it a little easier. I don't know what all got picked up on this camera. Well, my next one I'm gonna do is pin F, and the pin F on the Impala is purple and white, and on the DTS it's like gray or something, but it's F to F on this car. So that's gonna be my next one. F to F. Probably just gonna put this on time lapse because I'm not gonna go through every one. I'm gonna post those wiring diagrams, and that should be everything you need. Just making sure I'm going F to F. Yep. Okay. So probably time lapse it from here. Just gonna make sure I put these in the right way. I don't know. Yeah, they're upside down when you go the other way. Just making sure. Okay, we went F to F. Alright, so I'm gonna time lapse the rest of everything else. But basically, this little tool here, rewind the video, I showed you how to do it earlier. That's all I'm doing. Repinning everything from the Impalas into this, and then we're gonna tap off this brown wire is the one we're gonna splice into to get our power. That's the one we're gonna run over to the fuse block, and then this black ground wire. I don't know, there are plenty of spots to run a ground wire under here. There's a spot right there you could tie into, or you could run it over here, which I might do. I might just bolt it, put a connector on here and just bolt it to this. That's a ground. I mean, don't have to get too fancy with it. Just as long as you got a good solid connection to ground, that should be fine. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of grounds under here. I'm not even gonna mess with those. I mean, you could, any one of these bolts, you could put a little connector on it, and so yeah, we're just gonna proceed with that, and then I'll start putting the column back together. But yes, I will. I have already put this on the screen. If you want a hard copy of this, drop me an email, certifiedshadetree@gmail.com. I'll gladly send you a JPEG of this. Any of this stuff, I pretty much have already made JPEGs out of them, so hit me up if you want a diagram. certifiedshadetree@gmail.com. Alright, so I have everything pinned except for that pin H on the Impala, says it's not used. And I have a pin B on the DTS is the last one, and it says it's the cruise control, set cruise, and resume accelerate switch signal. It says it's gray and white. I don't know. The H on the Impala I think is a purple wire. I'm gonna plug that pin H into pin B because that's the only thing that doesn't line up. And we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. We are all buttoned up. I think I'm still zoomed. So I got this all ready to go. I'm gonna get me some speaker wire and attach to those, but right now I think what I'm gonna do is get this in here and put that zip tie around here to have it secured the way it was. And then I'm gonna start, we can fish this airbag wire over behind the headlight switch, I think. Let's see if I can reach it back here. Oh, it's going around everywhere. Okay, there we are. I'm not plugging that in. That's gonna be the last thing I do after I get everything plugged back together. So now we got our matching connector on here. I'll get my zip tie on here, and I think we had electrical tape on here too. I don't know if I'm gonna need to do that, but get going on that, and then I'm gonna get the covers back on the column. And I cleaned them covers up a little bit. They're a little dusty. Get the column covers on, get the tilt lever back in, and then we can go ahead and put the steering wheel back on. So this is going to be, you know, we'll just fit this, you know, you got to fit it around the ignition key, fit it around the hazard button. Might need to tilt it down a little bit. Oh yeah, right, there we go. All doing this from the driver's side while I'm holding the camera. And I keep turning the hazard button on. So yeah, no, get this all finagled on there. There we go. I think, yeah, there's the top. I can't remember if this goes inside or outside of that. So we'll go hook this under, back on. That one bolt goes here, right through there. I think it's this one right here. Goes up here. I keep dropping it. Goes up into here somewhere. So yeah. All right, at this point I have the column all back together. I did plug the clock spring in, and I have not connected those wires up yet, but we're ready for the steering wheel. I think my GoPro light's going dead here. Yep, she just went dead. I'll have to charge that, but I got my other light here. Okay. I'm sitting here with the torque wrench on my lap. I gotta find the steering wheel nut. Okay, there it is. And fish all this through here. Man, this doesn't want to go through there. All right. Oh, there goes the camera. Do we need to film me putting the steering wheel back on? Huh. There's a lot of wires here. Okay. I thought I had this straight ahead. Oh shit. Gotta make sure that clock spring's lined up. Okay. Okay. Dang, dude. Alright. This is... I can't do this while I'm holding the camera. Okay, now we're on. Okay. Steering wheel link goes on one way and the clock spring keeps turning. So, everything is through. This is the connector that... Shit. I can't see it on the damn camera. This is going to plug in here. And I think there's something to hold it, retain it. Yep, okay. Alright. Huh. I brought the torque wrench, but I forgot the socket. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and torque this down. I think it's 100 foot-pounds. Alright, I have no airbag, but the steering wheel's on and connected. I just want to make sure everything works. And alright. Let's put her in low. One. Oh, no. This does not work. Nope. This doesn't work. Nope. Alright, I'm gonna make sure the radio works. Shit. I should mute that though. This is my steering. Oh, mute. Okay, steering wheel controls work. Yep. All right, my radio controls work. Yep. Okay. My radio controls work. Okay. Well. There's something up with this now. Nope. These do not work. So they worked with the old coil. They don't work with this one. Did I plug them in? That's the other, yeah, because this, wait, should be plugged in. I had, yeah, it's plugged in. Okay, my gear shift, nope. Gear shift buttons don't work. All right then. So I went ahead and took apart my old steering wheel, and I'm looking at this harness that goes to the left control. I'm gonna dig a little further on all data. I just looked at the wires going to the plug on the DTS, and they're a little bit different. A couple of them are different, so I'm gonna figure out what wires go to what. And I think it's just, there's probably just a wire missing. I think that's the only reason why the shifter buttons don't work. I did hook up the originals and they don't do anything either. I think it's just a wire missing. I'll get that figured out. But if you have the 06 to 11, you can skip over all this and you don't have to worry about it. We're at the point where we're just gonna wire up the heated steering wheel to the fuse box right now. Yeah, like I said, the brown wire is going to go to the fuse box, and the black wire we're going to run over here to a ground. Yeah. So get you some butt splices and some speaker wire. So that's what I'm going to use. Some speaker wire. We'll run that over. Get some of these, a couple of those, and a ring terminal, a big ring terminal. Alright, so I got my power and my ground all hooked up. Oh, you know what? I didn't run this underneath here. I'm gonna have to redo that. That's foobar. I'm gonna go ahead. This is a 13 millimeter bolt right here. Oh wow! I should use my electric ratchet, but I got a ring terminal here. We're just I'm gonna give this a test. After I get this on here, I do have that ran over to the fuse box and it's hooked up. So this is all we need to do here. Run my ground wire on through here. Like so. Snug that down. Didn't realize that I spliced that in without that going back under the dash. I'll never redo that. I don't know, I guess I'm more a little peeved that them shift buttons don't work, but I'll get that figured out. I'm gonna have to go sit down on the laptop and research all data. But honestly, I can't remember the last time I needed to manually shift into a lower gear. But I'll get that all figured out. I just want to see if the heated wheel works. Alright, I got that. I'm going to go around here. Alright, now is the point where I got my wire run, we're hooked up, and I remembered my black side, that's going to go on the left. We're going to plug it in. Oh man, I don't know if I'm getting any of this, but we're going to go. Let's see. You're going to go like that. I'll make sure I'm plugged in. Yep, I think. Where would that fuse go? Right, like that. So there we go. Now we're all ready. I just got to remember to put these relays back in. I'm not getting any of that on film. He's going to go back like that. Okay. I'll go test her and make sure she works. And that's what she's going to look like, all buttoned up. Got her tucked out of the way pretty good. And get the keys. We're just going to see if that thing powers up. See if all my work was... Okay. Oh. These are just hanging here because I'm trying to figure out the wiring. Alright, will she power up? Boom! There we go. We got power. Let me make sure my stereo's muted. Okay, so let's turn this light off. So you can see these work. Is it getting warm? I don't feel like getting warm. I should get my temp gun out. And here's the other question. How long does it take to warm up? So oh, yep, I feel it getting warm. Or is it just because I've been gripping it? Huh. Yeah, it's starting to... Yeah, okay. Yep, it's starting to feel warm. Not so much here. I also have a glove on. Let me go barehanded here. Hands fucking sweaty. Interesting. Huh. I should get my temp gun out just to feel it. The temperature in here is 50 degrees. I mean, right here I'm starting to feel warmth. If it is working, it's not heating up like my heated seats. I mean, I can feel some warmth. Guess I was expecting it to get warmer than this. Right here, I feel it. It's definitely warming up on the top. Oh yeah, it's warming up on the top. But yep, okay, it's feeling warm down here on the bottom. All right, so it's warming up, definitely. Yes, okay, right here is really getting warm. I should get my temp gun out. I'm gonna do that. All right, temp gun. Okay, we're 47 right here. Aim it at the wheel, 69. Yeah, 73. Oh, let's get this in frame. 76, 66, 61, 73. My seats are 54. Yeah, I don't have the heated seats on, but I do have this on. 71. 71. And over here is 45. 60. 68. So, alright, so it's definitely... Oh, yeah, okay, I can really feel it. It's warm now. Yes. Yes, okay. How long have we been going here? I don't know. Okay, it is definitely warming up. It's like this spot is the warmest. Yep, okay, so I definitely feel it warming up. Alright, so that works. Now, what do? I'm going to button up that wire, do a little more research on this. If anything, it's not going to be too difficult for me to take the airbag off again and probe around in here. So I think I'll tack all that on the end. But as far as, you know, like I said, if you got the earlier model, you don't have to worry about these shift buttons. So we got it working. I just need to I just need to tuck all that wire up now. Also, and to confirm, when I shut the ignition off, this shut off. So yeah, there's that. All right, so I did a little more digging. I went over to the steering wheel, my one that I had in the car, pulled my harness, and I looked at the connector on the left, the driver's side pod button. And this right here, this orange wire that's in pin 5, this doesn't exist on that DTS wheel I got. Mainly one, because that wheel didn't come with the cruise control gap buttons. That's why that harness doesn't have it. I consulted with All Data DIY. This is the Impala, or no, this is the DTS right here. So the gap comes out of pin 5. Okay? Let's look at the Impala. Wait, let me see if I can find the Impala one. The Impala is right here. Right here. Steering wheel control switch left. Shift buttons comes out of pin 5. Now, it shows this going to pin H. And I looked at this right here. And sure as shit, the orange wire goes to pin H. So, that wire is missing. Now, on the DTS, pin 5 goes to pin A. And like I said, I noticed on that connector there was one wire missing. I'm going to go back in there and check and make sure it's pin A. But what I think I'll need to do, I'm just going to extract this orange wire out of here, out of this and here, and I'm going to transplant it on that new wheel. So I might have to go through my kit and find something a little smaller than this to get this out of here. But I just noticed we can just pry up on the red on here, and this comes out pretty easily. Yep, I got it out. So looking in there, yep, I think I'm gonna need to find a smaller tool to get that out. While I do that, do that off camera, but I believe this tool should be able to get this out, because this looks the exact same as the one we took off the car. Yep, it's the exact same. So we should be able to use this extractor. So it's kind of the same deal here. We'll just pull up on this, take this out. Probably going to need my flat blade screwdriver to get that out. So part of getting old is admitting you need bifocals. I had to get out the old cheaters and, and look at this really closely. If you look near the top of the pin, here's the one that I effed up and had go the wrong way. Right above that, there's a plastic tab, and you push your little tool above that metal connector, and then she'll come out the backside. And so here it is. And then the one on the other side comes out just like the ones you just extracted under the car or under the dash, and I went and bent that back. So I don't have to extract anything out of the other one. We're going to add this to pin 5, and then there's only one pin left on the other side of the harness, which is A. It should be A. So I already put the airbag back in and moved the car back around, but okay, I am back after some contemplation, and I got it figured out. So here we go. This is where I have the ground wire connected. That bolt right there, 13mm head. I put a big ring terminal on it. I spliced it in under here, and then there is the so now this pod right here, if you pull this connector out on slot A, it's the very top one facing you, there is not a wire in there. That wire, you need to harvest it out of your old harness from your old car, and you need to run this over, take this connector apart. So you're going to come in here and pin A is going to be missing. So you're gonna take the wire out of pin B, put it in pin A, and you're gonna put this wire into pin B. Because remember down here I said there was a wire, slot B in here was empty. And that Impala said there was the wire that was in slot H. H was not used, and I said I put that wire into pin B. Well, that's your wire for the shift buttons. I think All Data never updated that connector for the newer models. That's the data wire for the shifter. So that's how you get it to advance the gears. All right, so here we go. I will show you now. Okay, check it out. Okay, see? Boom, 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 boom. They're working up and down. Okay, and heated steering wheel works. So now that that is good, I'm gonna go take it for a drive and make sure the cruise works. Make sure I got all that correct. But we can button all this up now. I'm gonna put the airbag back in and then plug it back in. I have it disconnected. Oh yeah, I did. I took this piece off just so it was a little easier to access these wires. But this, take that out, take this, and it's the same as this connector down here where you pry the little clip off the side, pull it out. Might be a little difficult because of how these wires are wired up, but that's what you got to do. But now we got the heated wheel working and we got the shift buttons working. So I'm driving and I got the heated wheel on, and it's warming up a lot quicker now that the engine's running than it was when I was sitting in the garage. Now I'm gonna try the cruise control, and she turned on. All right, so the cruise works. I just want to make sure if I bump up 2, let's go, 1, 2, yep, down 2, she decelerates, yeah, so the cruise is working, you can see that. Let's hit the brake, turns off, we can resume, she comes back on. All right, we're good. So I got her licked. Yep, cruise is working. Heated wheels working. So much so I'm turning it off. Getting a little warm. I mean, it's sunny out today. It's 48. I don't really need it, but it stops as soon as I shut it off. So yeah, I'm gonna go on a little side street here and just test out the manual shifting. Probably cut part of this out while I turn. Okay, I'm gonna bump her down into low. Okay, there's 1. Let's just manually shift. Or we'll go 2, 3, 4. Yep, okay. All right. We are 100% functional. Also wanted to say my steering wheel controls work. So we got volume, tuning, all that works. We never had the issue with this, but this is all working good too. So we're good to go. All right, so there's something I want to show you here. I guess I'm gonna have to turn the ignition on. So, I don't know if you can see it, but the Impala's instrument are like an aqua color, and the Cadillac steering wheel controls are white. They look blue on the camera right now, but they're like white, pure white. So, I mean, they're really dim. You don't really notice it. But if that's something that annoys you, you can put your Impala, the right side control back in. I'm going to show you why I would just leave these in a second here. Now, it took took one of these pods apart. This is one of the Cadillac ones. And the LEDs on here are completely white. Oh, and the other thing too, I did take the Impala one apart. This little back panel, these little buttons are attached to it, and these, you can easily swap this panel onto the other one so you can have the proper looking shift buttons, which I'll probably end up doing. This button, these are impossible to switch out. So yeah, I tried picking these buttons out, and they're, you know, without breaking them. These are all the same color, you know, because I was thinking of changing this button out. Yeah, without, you're gonna break it trying to get that apart. So I'd say swap these for sure. So yes, I was looking at the Impala ones, and the LEDs on the board had like an aqua color to them. So unless you wanna, you know, get in here and unsolder these and solder the Impala ones on there, I'd just say go with the white. Unless, you know, unless you're really daring and want to unsolder these 5 LEDs. All right, so what do you think? Just added a heated steering wheel to my 9th gen Impala. Like I said, if you have the earlier models, you can skip a lot of the stuff I was doing in there and just wire her straight up. But I'm glad I got it figured out. And another special shout out to Sizzlin321. I'm not going to give away his real name because that'd be kind of a dick move. But thanks to him, and thanks for the idea and helping me through. Appreciate everybody else for liking, commenting, and subscribing and checking out my other videos. Be sure you do so. And we'll see you in the next video. Deuces.